Let me start with something that most people don't want to hear. You don't need another workout plan or another workout day. You don't need a new gym membership, and you definitely don't need to wait for Monday. What you do need is to stop sitting so much. One of the fastest ways we age isn't a lack of exercise, it's a lack of movement throughout the day. So that's what we're going to be talking about today, moving more, how to incorporate that into our lives. This is LZ23 Strength, where we exert ourselves, elevate our health, and evolve in mind and body. And today I want to focus on something simple but powerful and completely overlooked when it comes to our health span and longevity. And it's something called movement snacks. Now, we've briefly mentioned them before and in some of our other videos. But if you feel that you're stressed, you don't have time, you're overworked, and it feels like a losing battle, this might be the most important video that you've watched, because movement snacks can truly have a profound effect on our health right now, our health span in the future, our longevity. And it's not something that I made up. I think I've mentioned it before that Dr. Rhonda Patrick is the one who I've heard use the term exercise snacks, or here we're talking about movement snacks, so it's the same thing. And let's talk about what they are. They're actually short bursts of activity, maybe 2 to 5 minutes, but could even be as simple as 1 minute if it's vigorous enough in what we're doing. So they're not workouts. You're not sweating. You don't even have to change your clothes when you're doing these things. But it's just movement. It could be simple as just standing up, walking, especially if you can get outside, maybe at lunchtime, if you're on a lunch break from work, stretching, just getting the blood flowing and doing something. We sit way too much, as I mentioned at the beginning, and these movement snacks, there's a term that we can use for them called NEAT. That's an acronym for non-exercise activity thermogenesis. So in simple terms, it's movement that we do outside of exercise. Now, I'm a big believer in exercise, especially strength training, weightlifting, but we're talking outside of that. It's important, and research has shown that NEAT plays a massive role when it comes to metabolism, joint health, brain function, blood sugar control, all things health span and longevity. So the idea, we have 24 hours in a day. Even if you work out for 1 hour a day, what are we doing the other 23 hours? Let's say our waking hours. Let's say you work out an hour a day, but the other 15 waking hours, if you're sitting most of that time, it's going to have a detrimental effect on our body, and our body will pay the price. So the idea here is the movement snacks is going to have a powerful effect and impact on our health and our health span. So let's talk about why sitting ages us. Actually, you've probably heard that sitting is called the new smoking, because that's the detrimental effect it can have on our bodies if we're sitting too much, because the human body wasn't designed to sit all day. And that seems to be what we're doing, whether we're sitting in our cars, sitting at work, sitting watching television, sitting scrolling on a phone, and on and on and on. What happens when we sit too long? Well, our circulation slows down, our muscles shut down, joints stiffen, our posture collapses, our blood sugar rises, brain stimulation drops. Now, I'm sure none of those sound very good to us, and that's not what we want to happen. And what's going to happen over time as we're doing that? Well, we're going to get back pain, we're going to get weak legs, poor balance, fatigue, brain fog, loss of independence later in life. So as we age, all of these things are going to accelerate unless we do something about it. And it's not just about years going by and suffering, but it's how well our body adapts to daily life as these years go by. And movement snacks help interrupt or slow that decline and have the bad effect upon us. So why 5 minutes matter? We talked about 2 to 5 minutes. Well, it's going to make a big impact on us. It turns our muscles back on, pumps blood and oxygen, lubricates our joints, wakes up the nervous system, signals to the brain that the body's still alive and still capable. So every hour or two, we need to add these movement snacks into our daily routines, and they add up to 30 to 60 minutes of movement that we otherwise wouldn't have had. It's important so that we don't have long periods where our bodies are shut down, because those things that I mentioned, they're going to accumulate, they're going to accelerate in our bodies in a negative way, and it will affect our health span and longevity. It will affect our health, it will affect our balance, our independence, our mobility, all these things in a detrimental fashion. And the key here is consistency. They're small movements, but the consistency on a daily basis and each and every day, whether we're at work or we're at home, that's going to have a very positive effect on our longevity. So let's talk about some examples of movement snacks and maybe even some demonstrations of them. So we want to talk about movement snacks that you can do throughout the day. Obviously, I'm here in my basement, so I have access to more different equipment, but something like this you can carry with you anywhere if you happen to be outside. It's a resistance band. This one's a very light one, but they come in all different grades as far as resistance and how much you want to have on it. But great to do a few little exercises with it. Great supplement to working out, but you might not have access at work. We'll give a few other exercises, but just to give some ideas. This one, you stand on it, can do some light curls, some tricep exercises. I like some side laterals, holding it out to the side. So there's a lot of different things we can do with that. If not, depending again where we're at, maybe some jumping jacks. Even just jumping up and down. Can march in place using our arms. Even a crazy one, I just saw this on some training for sprinters, which hopefully I'll do some sprinting videos come springtime, but just standing in place and pretending like you're sprinting with your arms. Maybe you don't want to do it too fast, or if you're around anybody, they might think you're a little crazy. But all sorts of exercises you can do. Hopefully one day I'll do one on, I believe even flexing is a good isometric movement to do in there. You can do air squats, lunges. As you're getting older, if you do lunges, do them backwards instead of forward, a little less pressure on the knees. But just a few ideas for different movements. Stretching is always good. Main thing is movements, and they're snacks because you only need to do, said 2 to 5 minutes, but if you're doing something real vigorous for a minute, jumping jacks for a minute, that's going to be pretty good too. So back to the regular scheduled program. So those are just a few examples that we have for our movements that we can do on a daily basis. Obviously, it's different if we're at work or if we're at home, but it applies to 7 days a week, and we're not always at work, so we can implement them even at nighttime. But they're going to have a powerful effect and lasting effect on our health. And another area too, because as we're talking about this, we always seem to be focused just on the physical benefits and aspects of it, but posture and balance and movement, all these things also affect our brain. And movement, it's not just for muscles, it feeds our brain. Our brain gets better sensory input, our balance system stays sharp, our reaction time improves, and when we think of balance and aging people who have risks of falling, sometimes that's it, our reaction time, along with strength and balance, all those things play in to prevent us from falling down, and our confidence increases. It affects things like our gait, our movement. Poor posture and lack of movement tells the brain we're fragile. Let me repeat that. Poor posture and movement tells our brains that we're fragile. And that's the last thing that we want to tell ourselves or tell our brains, that we're fragile. But the movement snacks and exercise and movement in general, it's going to do the opposite. It's going to tell our brains that we're not fragile. It's going to tell our brains that we're capable, we're stable, we're adaptable with our bodies. So that's going to matter a lot when it comes to not falling, for our cognitive health, and just our independence as we age, so that our health span is one where we can enjoy life the way we're enjoying it now. We're going to enjoy it in the future. So, how can we build this into a daily routine so that it's something that we do every day? Well, we want to keep it simple and keep it realistic. Something simple, maybe if you have your watch, a smartwatch. Somewhere along the way, we want to have an alarm system put in place, a timer, where every 60 to 90 minutes, we're trying to incorporate some movement. If we're at work, maybe we add one more visit to the restroom. Obviously, throughout the day, you may have to use the restroom. Maybe we add one more visit if we won't get in trouble. And walking to the restroom, maybe while we're in there, we can do some air squats. I know people get tired of hearing that, but air squats are a perfect little exercise that we can squeeze in. But try to incorporate them to things that we're already doing. If we're going to take a phone call, stand up to take the phone call. Even periodically, if we've been sitting for a while, just stand up, walk around your desk or walk around your area if you can. Stretch, do some stretching. There's different movements that just getting up and moving, getting the body moving. If you're just even swinging your arms or marching in place real quick for a few seconds, just trying to do these things on a regular basis, make it part of our daily routine. Again, it's not going to replace exercising. And if it's possible, we want to have 3 solid days of workouts. I like 4 or 5, all depending on what our goals are, what we're trying to achieve. But the movement snacks are not going to replace them. They're supplemental to it, so that throughout the day, we're movement oriented. Remember, I always say movement means life. And that's how regular people achieve a good health span, and how regular people stay capable, how they fight aging. And that's when I'm just a regular guy trying to make my way just like you folks are. I'm 61 and I want to remain strong. I want to remain somewhat athletic, and I want to stay active. I want to try to look reasonably decent. So all these things can add to that, and that's what I try to propose to you folks out there in the world. That as we do these things, they're going to help us age in a proper way, keeping our health span. So maybe leave a comment of what's one movement snack or one movement activity you're going to try to incorporate into your daily routine. And if you found this helpful or motivational, I have other videos dealing with things like balance, other exercises, gait, things that we can do. I have YouTube shorts and long-term videos too, or long-form videos that talk about all these things. I encourage you to take a look at them and find inspiration, send inspiration back, and then what you're trying to achieve as well. Not trying to be perfect, and I fall short in many ways, but got to keep fighting. That's how we fight aging and try to have that health span. So I encourage you to exert yourself, elevate your health, evolve in mind and body, so that we can have a good health span and longevity. So please smash the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. And I appreciate you watching, and don't give up. Keep fighting.